not shock me to see Trevor Lawrence running a little bit more this year, being a little bit more effective with his completion percentage, and seeing Trevor Lawrence in the top 5 to 7 quarterbacks in all of fantasy. It would not shock me to see. He was previously a top 8 quarterback, and I think a lot of people are quick to forget that he had an injury last year in the middle of the season. So, although one of the things with Trevor Lawrence is he really struggles with turnovers, right? He had 14 picks, 7 fumbles last year, so 21 turnovers. You don't want to see that. You like to see him be a little bit better in that area. But a lot of what he was doing last year was trying to force the ball to Calvin Ridley. Trevor Lawrence, he got the bag. He didn't have to worry about getting his extension anymore. He got paid this offseason very well. I think we're in for a rebound year from Trevor Lawrence. This is a guy we were all taking in the top 8, 10 quarterbacks last season. He's fallen outside of the top 15 in a lot of formats. So I think this Jaguars team is much improved. Christian Kirk got hurt towards the end of last year, so he'll have him back for the whole season. They went and got Brian Thomas in the first round, a receiver with a ton of upside. I think they get the most out of Trevor Lawrence. I think with this Cliff Kingsbury air raid attack, he had the most yards in college football last year. This is the guy you play as like the upside to win your whole league. If he hits, he could be Lamar Jackson-esque. Like, we're talking a guy that's probably going to be somewhere around the 700 to 800 yards rushing, probably going to be somewhere around 3,500 yards passing, not to mention the team put weapons around him. You already got Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, who's a former first-round pick. You add another third-round pick in Luke McCaffrey. You add Zach Ertz, somebody who already knows the system with Cliff Kingsbury. You draft Ben Sinnott. You go and acquire Austin Eckler this offseason, a veteran who can pass catch out the backfield. And you already got Brian Robinson, who showed he can be NFL caliber starting receiver. What's not to like what Jaden Daniels set up offensively? All the makings of potentially a very high profile offense. And you're getting him outside of the top 10, maybe 12 QBs, depending on where you're drafting. Jaden Daniels could be a league record, could literally be the type of quarterback that changes you from a fringe playoff team to a team that's now elite just by the quarterback position if he can hit the top 5. And if he hits anywhere near 800 to 1,000 yards rushing, if he really is Lamar Jackson-esque, oh boy, it's going to be a fun pick. Why is Geno Smith so far down the rankings? He was a QB 19 last year in a terrible year for Geno. The year before that, he was a QB 5. He was inconsistent last year because the offense was anemic. Now we're thinking Geno can't be a top 20 quarterback? Geno, he plays well. It's not like he doesn't have the receiving talent, right? JSN's going to be much better this year. Tyler Lockett re-signed. You also got DK Metcalf, obviously. The run game should be much better this year. The coaching scheme is like, hey, we want to get away from old, slow, run the football to opening this thing up. To me, this is one of those head scratchers, and I feel like Geno Smith is way better than a quarterback that should be going outside of the top 20. Again, he doesn't have the ceiling. He don't have 4,500 yard, 5,000 yard ceiling. But he was, like I said, he was just QB5 2 seasons ago. I think Geno's a hell of a value, and one of the top backups I would get, somebody in the back end of the QB1 conversation or high-end QB2, I think Geno would be a very, very good QB2 to have and has a lot of upside. I think you could eventually start him this season.